breakfast. We now take you to the Center of Unity, where Shamama Imodu and Tijesu Adeoye are standing by in Abuja for the FCT brief. Abuja, Inakwana, over to you.
Thank you, Ria. Good morning, and good morning to the rest of the team over there. Of course, we're here again this beautiful Monday morning to dissect and make you understand all that is happening on the governance and political scene.
Yeah, good morning, Nigerians, and it's good to be here on a Monday morning. I think just about a week to the Christmas week.
Have you set up your Christmas tree?
I will do that after now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to FCT Brief. Today, we are focusing on foreign diplomacy, and this is coming at a time when Nigeria's engagement with the international community is opportunities. As new envoys prepare to represent the country abroad, expectations are high, ranging from strengthening bilateral relations and attracting foreign investments to protecting national interests and projecting Nigeria's image in an increasingly complex global order. Diplomacy today goes beyond ceremonial duties. It demands strategic thinking, economic intelligence, and the ability to navigate shifting geopolitical realities.
Nigerians' new ambassadors, the task ahead includes responding to global security challenge to get ourselves back to where we used to be, a very strong voice in international.
And understood at three different but complementary levels. First of all, in every diplomatic mission established by the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there is always what we call mission charter. Mission charter. That is, a mission charter consists of objectives to be pursued, the interests to be protected. So, representational duties begin from the diplomatic charter. The diplomatic charter varies from one diplomatic mission to another. For instance, the interest to be pursued in the United Kingdom, in the United States, our embassies there, they belong to category A embassies. You will not compare our High Commission in the UK with what we have either in Cape Verde, in Guinea-Bissau, in the Gambia. So missions are classified into categories of importance. And in this case, the mission charter varies in this case. For instance, while in the grade A embassies, emphasis is placed on how to attract technology, attract investments, the same is not true of some African missions. So in this case, what we expect our new ambassadors is to do will include sitting down to study and understand what is required to be done. And they will be guided by the diplomats in the embassy. The second level of analysis is that we have some what we can call situational interests or accidental, coincidental interests. Let me give you a concrete example. For instance, when the United States of Donald Trump came up with the idea of guns are blazing, intervention in Nigeria, in the context of seeking to protect the Christians against, the unwarranted attacks on them. What we will expect any ambassador to do is to find a way of mitigating, the tension. So it is the situation that will determine what the ambassador's designates are required to do. And there are many. You can just imagine again the coup d'etat in Guinea-Bissau. After the ECOWAS was still thinking that there will be an end to unconstitutional changes of government in Africa, There was a coup there. And please, just last Sunday, what about the coup in the immediate neighborhood in Benin? So the duties of an ambassador in that particular case would be to be all ears, to listen, to move around, get information, keep the Minister of Foreign Affairs back home, giving them detailed information in such a way that we will be in a position to give appropriate response. The third level of analysis is the interest of Nigeria as defined by the president of Nigeria. In this case, ambassadors, many people wrongly believe, argue that they are ambassadors representing Nigeria. No, technically speaking, ambassadors are personal representatives of the president of the country. That is why they are giving letters of credence. Letters of credence. I say letters, plural, because the first letter is letter of recall. You need to show the country you are going to that the incumbent ambassador has been recalled, is going back home, and that you are coming in. So the first one is letter of recall, and the other one is letter of accreditation, replacing the ambassador that has been recalled. In this particular case, the president has some ambassadors represent Nigeria through the president of Nigeria. So the president of Nigeria will give personal instructions to some ambassadors that we will need this one for our country. Try to do this, try to do that. They will be given instructions. In fact, the first diplomatist of the country is the president. But we have the Minister of Foreign Affairs representing him to coordinate all his foreign policy activities. So in this case, what, for instance, the ambassadors are expected to do are already made clear-cut. The only thing now for them is to ensure that they comply, they carry out, they do precisely what is needful.
All right, Prof. Very solid foundation you laid there. And speaking of instructions and what is expected of these ambassadors, President Tinubu says Nigeria's foreign policy now runs on 4 pillars, which is democracy, development, demography, and diaspora. Now, beyond these slogans, how would you say that, how does this what should be expected of this new ambassadorial appointment, and how concrete would they advance these 4D agendas? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Prof. Did you get my question, or should I say it again? Professor Akinteriwa, can you hear me? All right, let's take a quick commercial break while we resolve the issues with Professor Akinteriwa. Don't go anywhere. We still have more for you on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. Now we're still talking about the task ahead of the new ambassadorial designate. And before we come back to our guests,
like I'm an ambassador.
We witnessed what happened, at the National Assembly, and this has generated a lot of talks about the bow and go, privilege that a lot of these nominees got. And a lot of Nigerians actually feel shortchanged because they expected to hear, what these ambassadors have in store for Nigeria and how they hope to represent them on the foreign scene. Do you think it's valid?
Very well. I've always held this perspective that it's a very wrong, attitude in the National Assembly when you extend to former colleagues and say, take a bow and go. You see, you are representing Nigeria on the global scene as the National Assembly. Whoever the person is, the new assignment is different from the previous one as a member of the National Assembly. We expect that you thoroughly grill the individual so that when he gets out there, we know his capacity. And so because I was a member of the National Assembly, does not mean I will perform in the new assignment excellently well. So it's a wrong tradition that the National Assembly must take a second look at their status book and change those things there in the interest of the nation.
But the sentiments that this lawmaker shared was the fact that, these people might have appeared before them 1 or 2 times before, and they had screened them. So that should stand, for that.
No two assignments are the same. No two assignments are the same.
Yeah.
The previous assignment you stood for was a completely different assignment. This assignment is a different one, and it entails such different type of capacity. And we must put that to test. The first test is when you appear before the National Assembly. Yeah. So if you deny Nigerians the opportunity to see the capacity of the person so appointed by Mr. President, then you are denying us of a vital thing. So you're only asking us that wait for this person to perform at the global scene. So if the person does not perform at the global scene, the bigger blame is on you. Because you ought to also help check the appointing capacity of Mr. President, and that is why you are there. So if you negate, if you do not carry that responsibility, you have failed in your own act.
All right, let's talk to Mr. Akinteriwa. I hear that he's back now. Mr. Akinteriwa, can you hear us? Professor. Professor, if you can hear me, before we went on the break, I was saying that President Tinubu says Nigeria's foreign diplomacy now is anchored on 4 solid pillars, which is democracy, development, demography, and diaspora. Now, beyond that slogan, how does this new ambassadorial appointment concretely advance this 4D agenda?
Having some challenges over there.
President Tinubu seemed to have a lot of belief in this appointment that he has made. But, it has also generated the fact that most of it is politically, advanced. The qualification of these individuals come in question. And now that the National Assembly has finished screening them, without questioning, people are now saying, okay, so how do we now rate the performance of this ambassadorial nominee?
Yeah, I want to first disagree with the aspect that they are politically inclined. The first thing is that, are they Nigerians? Okay. Yes. That is the first qualification. If they are Nigerians, are they excelled in their various capacities? Yes. So the president is right to have appointed them, whether they are members of political, of course. If they're members of a political, it's also a plus for him. So you won't say because they are members of a particular political party, you should not appoint them. They are Nigerians. Then the other thing is how their own performance. I think for the first time after so many years, we're seeing a president that is looking beyond just Nigeria, that's looking at the global scene. How would he position? That was why you saw the influence Nigerians wielded in the intervention in Benin Republic. After ECOMOG, after Babangida brought in ECOMOG, successive governments fell short of promoting the image of ECOMOG, and we went back to with ourselves alone, and nobody looked at the sub-regional scene, the regional scene. This is the first time we have a president who is going to be coming back to that we should look beyond just Nigeria, because if there is peace in Nigeria and there is no peace around countries around you, you're going to have a lot of problems. So he's repositioning the sub-regional body. But my own worry is, after him, are we going to have that success, the successor, standing with that principle? That is the only way the nation will be respected in the global scene. So that it does not start and end with its own government. It should continue. So if we continue with that narrative that we are not just Nigerians, we are Africans, it will help us to bargain, because we stand a better voice to bargain in the global scene as Africans than as Nigerians. All
right, Mr. Ash. Let's hear from Mr. Akinteriwa, Professor Akinteriwa. Do we have your attention now, Professor?
It's like this Monday, this network is not friendly with us this Monday morning.
Professor, can you hear me? If you could hear me, just go ahead and speak.
While we wait for Prof to connect, we have a major block. We have some people were asked that you have the BRICS, you have the US putting pressure on us. How do you think, what is the best way to begin to realign ourselves? Do we move closer to the BRICS that we might not curry the favor of the US, or do we move closer to the US? How do you think we should manage the global scene?
I feel first of all is to reform or reshape our global narrative? Because, you know, a lot of foreign nations actually see Nigeria in a bad light because of, you know, this insecurity problem and some of the economic challenges that Nigeria faces. And so there's a lot of misinformation out there. That is one big task that these ambassadors have on their plate right now. Project a good image for Nigeria and put the country in a good light, because right now we don't look good on the foreign scene. But I hear that Professor is back online. So, Professor, I was asking you that President Tinubu has now said that the foreign policy now stands on 4 solid pillars. And I'm also asking that this new ambassadorial appointment, how concretely will it solidify these 4 pillars that the foreign policy stands on?
I think they will certainly do very well if they understand the implications, the objectives, the strategic objectives of the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars representing the doctrine of the 4 Ds. That is democracy, development, diaspora, and demography. The current, you know, foreign policy calculations of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they bother more about what we now call strategic autonomy. And that is what the very capable, I use the word very capable, foreign minister has been going about selling Nigeria, selling the policy to the whole world. He is now saying that the 4 pillars to be the pillars for, you know, attaining the foreign policy objective of strategic autonomy. What is strategic autonomy? According to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, and as explained by his foreign minister, Yusuf Maitama Tuga, it is about self-capacity building. Self-capacity building at the TVC, self-capacity building in the industries, self-capacity building in the media, in the economic, in the socio-cultural sectors, even at the nuclear families level. If, for instance, nuclear families can be autonomous, can be self-reliant, then it will be promoted to the level of the community, the local government, then to the state, then national. In other words, we are talking about self-reliance in everything. So that is what the foreign policy is all about. They are talking about strategic autonomy. The minister has been bringing together scholars, academics, to reflect, to assist on how to translate this strategic objective into action. So, in this particular case, when we now have ambassadors, and that's why they are called extraordinary, and not only extraordinary, plenipotentiary. Extraordinary to say that we have diplomatic agents, but their leader, the ambassadors, whether they answer high commissioner, you know, ambassadors, high representatives in the context of the Francophones, envoys, they will be there to promote, to explain, you know, to attract friends for new Nigerians. If you have a good product, but you don't have a good marketer, it is as good for nothing. So in this case, having the ambassadors now understanding the new foreign policy direction of Nigeria, it will go a very long way in reprojecting, in representing Nigeria abroad. Okay. As it is, and you rightly mentioned it earlier on, that our current international, you know, personality is has been tainted. We don't have good image. But now, with a well-defined, well-articulated new policy and with the new ambassadors, I think that if they are well coordinated, if they, especially the political ambassadors, if they do not unnecessarily over-politicize their appointments, I think Nigeria will come back to be the leader of leaders as conceived and laid down under the First Republic.
Okay, Prof, just in 30 seconds, how should we best benchmark these ambassadors, talking about their performance, so that we not just be, okay, they've been appointed. How do we benchmark to know if in the next 6 months, 1 year, you have succeeded, you've achieved your objective or not?
Very broad. Okay, I didn't hear.
Prof, how can we best benchmark our representatives at the foreign missions, the performance level?
Well, it is very difficult to scientifically and objectively respond to that question. You can just imagine, you don't have representatives in a place without empowering them. If you do not empower them, then what do you want them to do? In this case, I am aware that the diplomatic missions are underfunded. That's the first thing. And in this case, when you underfund activities, what would you expect? I can tell you that in terms of competency, no ambassador of Nigeria can be underrated in any nook and cranny of a diplomatic world. They are seasoned, especially the careerists. In Nigeria, like it is the practice in any part of the world. It is the best of the best that you bring together in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to go and represent you there, because you are going to meet the best diplomats from other countries.
All right, Professor.
So the mere fact that some people are already there as representatives have taken their competence for granted.
All right.
But the major problem, when Nigerians travel abroad, for instance, and they go to the embassy, they are
unfortunately,
help.
Professor, we've run out of time. We've totally run out of time, but we must say thank you so much for your contributions on the program. It was a delight speaking with you. I hope that next time we'll have a smooth conversation with you and you could express all that you have to say to us. Thank you so much.
Having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for sticking with us for the first 30 minutes. We'll now hand you over to Lagos, where Ria and the rest of the team are standing by to continue with the rest of the show.
Thank you so much, TJ Sue. Great conversation. I wish you all had more time. Thank you so much.